Hello students, I welcome you all to today's physics lecture, chapter number 10, Magnetic Fields Due to Electric Current. I am Rajkumar Mule from Ferguson College. Dear students, in this chapter of class 12th, we will be studying how magnetic field is produced when current flows through the conductors. But before we actually begin with the chapter, let us see what we all are going to study in this chapter as major landmarks. In the beginning, we shall be studying Oersted's experiment. Oersted discovered for the first time that magnetic field is produced around every current carrying conductors or wires. Then magnetic force on a wire carrying current, torque on a current loop, magnetic dipole moment, Biot-Savart law, and finally we shall be studying Ampere's law, and we are going to use this law to derive expressions for magnetic fields due to solenoids and toroids. Let us, in short, recall in class 11th. This is necessary because the concepts or the knowledge of certain things from these chapters are important to understand the ongoing chapter. In class 11th, chapter number 10, electrostatics, we have studied the effects produced by the charges at rest, which is called as electric field. There we have studied Coulomb's law, electric dipole moments, and so on. In the next chapter, chapter number 11, electric current through conductors. When charges make a move, then current is produced in the conductor. We have learnt Ohm's law, resistivity, electromotive force, internal resistance, etc. in this chapter. The basic difference between these two chapters is that in the 10th chapter, charges were at rest, and in 11th chapter, the current is produced because charges were in motion. In chapter 12, magnetism, we have studied artificial magnets, definition, poles of magnets, magnetic dipole moments, field which is produced around the magnet is called magnetic field, and how to derive expression for magnetic field along the axis as well as equator of a bar magnet. Torque acting on a bar magnet when it is kept in external uniform magnetic field. So, dear students, the need for me to explain the background of class 11th is there is lot of analogy, or one can say similarity, between magnetism and electrostatics. The terms, the physical quantities that we have used then are again used in the ongoing chapter today. So, if you are familiar with what we have done in class 11th, I am sure you are going to enjoy this chapter. So, shall we begin then? Yes. As I mentioned in between, there is lot of similarity between the terms physical quantities that were used in magnetism to that of electrostatics. One can say it is nothing but electrostatic analogy. So let us compare that analogy between these two chapters. As far as basic physical quantity of chapter electrostatic is concerned, we have used it as electrostatic charge, Q. In magnetism, we are going to use it as magnetic pole. Field. In electrostatics, it is electric field, a vector quantity, it is denoted by vector E. Whereas in magnetism, we call it as magnetic field and is denoted by vector B. Its unit is Tesla. The constant that we have used in electrostatics was 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, where epsilon 0 is permittivity of free space or vacuum. Likewise, in magnetism, we have mu 0 by 4 pi, where mu 0 is permeability of free space or vacuum, or one can say for air. The next physical quantity is dipole moment. In electrostatic, we used to call it as electrostatic or electric dipole moment. It is denoted by small letter p vector and is equal to the product of charge and separation between the two charges. P is equal to Q to L. It is a vector quantity. Likewise, in magnetism, we call it as magnetic dipole moment and is denoted by small letter m. It is equal to Q suffix m into 2L, where Q suffix m is the pole strength of north pole, which is positive. And therefore, the product of pole strength and separation is called as magnetic dipole moment. Force. Here in electrostatic, the charge Q, when kept in external electric field E, then the particular charge experiences force, which we can also call it as electrostatic force, and it is equal to QE. Whereas in magnetism, we have magnetic force F to be equal to Q suffix MB. If you compare these two relations, see here, the charge in electrostatics is analogous to the pole strength in magnetism. Here in electrostatic, we have electric field E, there we have got magnetic field B. The next term, potential energy. Potential energy of dipole. As far as the electric dipole in electrostatics is concerned, the potential energy stored U is equal to minus vector P dot vector E. In magnetism, we have got U to be equal to minus vector M dot vector B. You can see the comparison or analogy between the two relations. Here we have got electrostatic dipole and here magnetostatic or magnetic dipole. Coulomb's law. The whole chapter of electrostatics is based on this particular law. Inverse square law also it is mentioned. The force of attraction or repulsion between two charges is given by Coulomb's law and it is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 Q1 Q2 upon R square. There is no as such analogy to explain magnetism. I will explain which formula governs the rule in magnetism and magnetic fields due to electric current few minutes from now. There are two more analogical physical quantities. One of them is the expression for axial field for short dipole. If I have a short electric dipole, then the electric field E produced along the axis of such an electric dipole is given by 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 2p by r cube. Whereas similarly, the magnetic field produced along the axis of short bar magnet is given by mu 0 by 4 pi 2m by r cube. Finally, the equatorial field for force. Equatorial field for short dipole. In electrostatics, the electric field along the equator of short electric dipole is given by 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 p by r cube, whereas in magnetism, the magnetic field along the equator of short magnetic dipole is given by mu 0 by 4 pi m by r cube. Dear students, if you understand this analogy between these two topics, then I am sure you will enjoy the chapter that we are going to study today. To make our session very interesting, I want you all to observe these two pictures that are there in front of you. The picture to your left is a very common picture. You must have performed this experiment in your lower standard somewhere. What is this explanation for? It is explaining that whenever a wire which is carrying current is wound on a nail, then as soon as current flows through this coil, there are certain changes that occur within the nail. The nail is been converted to temporary magnet, and that is why the needles or metallic pins are being attracted. As soon as you stop the flow of current, you will see that the needles will fall down, pins will fall down. Magnetic field or the nail which has been temporarily converted to magnet loses its magnetism. This means that whenever there is flow of current through the conductor, then whatever is there along the core of that solenoid or magnetic field is produced around the coil or solenoid produced because of that current carrying wire. Likewise, in medical science, we have MRI scans. There is a huge machine, a coil through which current is passed. There are huge number of turns, and as per the requirement, we can increase the magnetic field produced around that coil. The head of this patient is being kept inside the coil which is around him. I want you all to observe this video very carefully. You will understand what is happening, and you can use this for the rest of the chapters. Let us observe an important phenomena that is taking place in the video in front of you. We have got a wire below which we are going to keep a magnetic needle. The position of deflection of the magnetic needle and the wire are parallel to each other. We are going to connect a battery negative terminal to the left side of the terminal, I mean the wire that is given to us, and positive terminal to the right side. As soon as we connect the right side, we can see that there is deflection in the magnetic needle, which indicates that magnetic field is produced around the current carrying wire. Remember, magnetic compass deflects only if magnets are brought near it or when it is kept in external magnetic field. Now here, if I keep the magnetic compass on top of that wire, remember, the flow of current still is in the same direction as when I had kept my magnetic needle below the wire. The needle had deflected to the right of your side. Now when I have compass on top of the wire, let us see what happens. As soon as current flows through the wire, deflection is to the left hand side now. That means deflection below was to the right, above it is to the left. In the later part, we are going to reverse the direction of current flow. Here, needle is below the wire. In previous case, deflection was to the right. Now, the deflection is to the left. I hope you have understood that whenever there is flow of current through the conductor, then magnetic field is produced around it. And there is effect on the direction of that magnetic field produced because of flow of current. Hans Christian Ørsted, a Danish physicist and chemist, professor at Copenhagen, he observed that a compass needle suffers a deflection when placed near a wire carrying an electric current. This discovery gave the first empirical evidence of connection between electric and magnetic phenomena. Remember, this discovery was made in 1820, almost 200 years ago. To explain his discovery, I have a video for you. In this video, you can see that there is an arrangement in which I am going to pass current through the wire, which is arranged in such a way that there is a plain platform which is perpendicular to the current carrying wire held in the stand. I'm going to pour iron filings on the plane top of this platform, and then I'm going to pass current. Let us see what happens. And this was actually done by Hans Christian Ørsted. Here, when iron filings are poured, they are randomly distributed. As soon as current flows through the wire, then see what happens. All the iron filings have arranged themselves in a unique way, concentric circular way, with the current carrying wire at its center. The arrangement gives us an idea that magnetic field, remember, iron filings are attracted by magnets. We have seen that. Here, they are being influenced and affected in their position. That means there is magnetic field produced here. What is the reason for that magnetic field? There is no reason other than the current that is flowing through the conductor. Hence, we can say that magnetic field is produced around this current carrying wire. Remember, this magnetic field around that wire is circular, and the magnetic field at any point on this circular line is tangential to the circumference there. So, I hope this video makes your concept about how magnetic field is produced around current carrying wires. This was discovered by Ørsted. The discovery of Ørsted was of great use to Gauss in electrostatics, Maxwell in his electromagnetic waves theory, Henry and Faraday in electromagnetic induction. The conclusions, experimental conclusions of Ørsted's experiment can be explained as following. The first conclusion of that experiment is every current carrying conductor produces magnetic field around itself. I'm sure you all are convinced. Am I right? Every current carrying wire produces magnetic field around itself. Second conclusion. The direction of magnetic field changes with change in the direction of current. We have seen in that video, when we change the direction of current, the direction of magnetic field around that current carrying wire also changed. The third conclusion. The strength of the magnetic field varies with distance from the current carrying conductor. I hope you understand this. If you are very close to the current carrying wire, then there the magnetic field is strong. As you go away from the current carrying wire, magnetic field weakens. This is what the third point has to say. The fourth conclusion is magnetic field direction is tangential to an imaginary circle with conductor at its center. As I told you, the magnetic fields are produced in a circular way around current carrying wire. If we have an imaginary circle, then at any point on the circumference of that circle, if I want to find out magnetic field there, then I simply have to make a tangent there. The magnetic field is in the direction of that tangent. Is this clear to you? Now, the thing is, we said that the magnetic field produced by current carrying wire changes its direction with change in the direction of current through that conductor. Now, if I want to identify the direction of magnetic field produced around current carrying wire, then how am I going to find it out? This can be done by right hand thumb rule. You can see on your screen, right top corner, I have given a wire carrying current I. If we imagine that current carrying wire to be held in our right hand such that the fingers are curled around the four fingers are curled around the wire and thumb is stretched along the length of the wire. If the thumb stretched along the length of the wire is in the direction of flow of current through that conductor, then whatever is the direction of your curled fingers, the direction of that curled fingers gives us the direction of magnetic field produced around that current carrying wire. You can see that here in case of this situation, current is flowing upward here and magnetic field is produced around it in this manner, right? Let us make an observation in this beautiful video. Let us understand the right hand rule in this beautiful video. Here I have got an arrangement with cell to make a current flow through the wire. As you can see that there is flow of current from right to left. Let us imagine to have this wire in our right hand. As you all can see that I am holding this wire in my right hand such that the fingers are curled around it and thumb is stretched along the length of the wire. Remember, the direction of thumb is same as that of direction of current. Then can you see that the curled fingers gives us the direction of magnetic field. Here we can make a very good observation that clockwise, the direction of magnetic field is clockwise in this situation. Remember, if we reverse the direction of current, then the magnetic field produced will go other way around. I mean, it should be anti-clockwise. I hope you have understood this. This is very important rule to determine or identify the direction of magnetic field around every current carrying wire. Electrostatic force acting on charge in an external uniform electric field. This was done in class 11th, right? Here I have got two plates. One is positively charged, the other one is negatively charged, right? So electric field will be produced between these two plates. The direction of that electric field E will be downward, positive plate to the negative plate. Now, if I have got a positive charge Q, let us suppose, is kept within these two plates inside the electric field at rest, then you all know that positive charge will experience a electrostatic force Fe, which should be equal to QE, and because of this electrostatic force, that charge will move towards the negative plate. What I mean to say is that even if I have a charge at rest within these two plates, it experiences force and it makes a move. If I have same charge fired with velocity v from outside into this electric field, then what happens? As soon as it enters this electric field, it actually deviates from its path. Why that deviation is not upwards and why is it downward? What will happen if the charge is negative instead of positive charge? These are the questions, you need to answer them. As far as this situation is concerned, the charge is positive charge and it is having a deviation in its path towards negative plate because positive charge is attracted by negative plate and the force acting on it is electrostatic force, which is equal to QE, and that is why it is having a deviation towards negative plate. If I would have had negative charge, then definitely it would have been deflected upwards. I hope you have understood this. Magnetic force acting on a charge in an external uniform magnetic field. Dear students, minutes ago I have explained you what happens when charge is kept in an external uniform electric field. Electrostatic force is being observed by that charge. Now here, today we are going to study something new, very new. Suppose the same charge that we took then, positive charge Q, if that charge Q is passed or made to travel through an external uniform magnetic field of induction B, then what happens? Will this charge now experience a force? What this force must be called? And what should be the direction of this force? Let us understand this. Let us understand this by this video again. Here you can see that I have got a charge which I have fired with velocity v into the magnetic field. Magnetic field is from north to south. The charge is moving perpendicular to that magnetic field. Right? I will play the video once again. You can see that the charge is being fired. Instead of going straight while passing through the magnetic field, it is bending downward as if going in an arc way. Right? Let me explain this here. Here, the magnetic force Fm experienced by this charge Q is given by Q in bracket V cross B. It is cross product of velocity and magnetic field. We can rewrite this in magnitude form as magnetic force Fm is equal to QVB sine theta. This is very important. The situation that we have observed here in the video suggests us that theta is equal to 90 degrees. Velocity is perpendicular to B. That means Fm must be equal to QVB, right? This is maximum force that charge can experience when it is made to travel through the external magnetic field. Now, suppose if I have that charge to travel at an angle 0 degree or 180 degree to that of external magnetic field, parallel or anti-parallel to it, then we can say that Fm needs to be 0. There is no force acting on the charge, right? That means we can say that the magnetic force depends on angle as well as the magnetic force Fm depends on velocity of the charge. Remember, if the charge has got velocity equal to 0, then magnetic force will also be equal to 0. Dear students, in our first lecture of 10th chapter, magnetic fields due to electric current, we have studied Oersted's experiment, his discovery of the relationship between magnetic field and flow of current through the conductor. Later on, we have studied right-hand rule to derive or understand the direction of magnetic field around the current carrying wires. Later on, we have studied electrostatic force experienced by charge as well as the magnetic force experienced by charge when they are made to move through external uniform electric or magnetic fields respectively. In the upcoming lectures, we shall study based on this later. Thank you.